Kentucky basketball picks up a physical win over the Texas A&M Aggies, led by who else other than Jaxson Robinson.
You are Locked On Kentucky, your daily podcast on the Kentucky Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, what's going on, Big Blue Nation? Welcome on in to Locked On Kentucky. If you're watching this live, you did not see me slip up there on the hotkey. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the show today. Again, we are live here on YouTube, recapping Kentucky basketball's massive win over the Texas A&M Aggies. 81-69 is the final score. Cats cover, led by who else other than Jaxson Robinson. Going to dive into what we saw in this game, a team that has not been very physical as of late, and yet they go out there and they dominated, I think, in various aspects of this game physically against one of the most aggressive teams in the entire country. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you are watching the show live here on YouTube, would appreciate it if you like the video. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel or the podcast feed, I would love it if you did so. Today's episode is brought to you, of course, by Game Time. You can download the Game Time app. You can create an account. You can use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. So, Kentucky basketball, a massive victory at home against the Texas A&M Aggies, ranked number 11 in the nation, slipped just outside of the top 10 before they played the Cats here in Rupp Arena. And this was a game coming into it where I knew, and I told you guys, hey, this is going to be a contest that is frustrating. It's going to be a contest that is very annoying. It's going to be a game against a team that will poke at you, that will prod at you, that will make things ugly. And this was not going to be a pretty or entertaining game. I think for the most part, of course, there were obviously major highlights here that we'll get to, but that was the story in essence of the first, I would say, 17 minutes of this contest, where Kentucky just could not find a rhythm offensively. They had a ton of different open looks from three. I think they started the game 1 of 10 or 1 of 11 from beyond the arc, and they had open shots that they just could not hit. Texas A&M was being physical down low. They were getting to the rim. They were making things again really ugly, and towards the end of the first half, a couple of things happened, and one of them, notably, was Jaxson Robinson, who in this game continued his hot shooting streak. Finished this game 22 points, 8 of 17 from the floor, 5 of 13 from three. I asked in the pregame episode, hey, would love to see a 5 of 12 shooting performance from three from Jax. That's what I said. Of course, he goes 5 of 13 against his former squad here with Buzz Williams. Had a couple of things to say after hitting a 3 in the first half. I believe he got teed up for that. Texas A&M also had Jace Carter teed up for something. Carter actually got a tech in a recent game as well, if I'm not mistaken. Or a flagrant or something like that. So that's like 2 in a row for him, which is interesting. But yeah, not a clean first half for sure. But of course, Robinson was able to do some things there at the end of the first half. Kentucky making some open shots, big time stuff to end the half on a little bit of a run. You get up by 3, and then the second half was in essence all yours. I mean, when you look at the way that this played out statistically, Kentucky was able to dominate in a variety of ways. Kentucky shot 60% in that second half of basketball, 4 of 10 from beyond the arc, 14 of 21 from the charity stripe. They took 31 free throws in this game. And I told you guys yesterday in my hot take prediction for the upcoming week, I thought Kentucky, this stretch of games against Texas A&M and Alabama, you're not going to see a 2-game stretch this season where Kentucky shoots more free throws. They've already got 31. I expect them to shoot a ton this Saturday against the Crimson Tide, who lost at home tonight to the Ole Miss Rebels. Really stunning stuff there. Interesting news around the SEC here today. I believe Missouri is still beating Florida, at least at the time of this live stream. But again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, if you've not subscribed to the show, please do so. If you've not liked the video, watching it here, would love for you to do so. If you have comments about this game, some of you are already starting to pour in talking about this. Lots of sloppy play. Stephanie notes, Alex Best says, Jax looking at the bench was hype. Not going to lie, it's nice to show a backbone and show care, in the SEC. And that's the second thing I kind of want to get to here today, or tonight. I mentioned it just a little bit ago. This team has not really shown a ton of physicality, right? They just haven't really done that this season. I think it may be personnel. I think it's kind of style as well. And Amari freaking Williams went out there, and he was special. He was incredible. He was out there pushing guys around. He was grabbing boards. He was getting blocks. He was doing everything you wanted him to on the defensive end. Aggressive and physical down low. That's what we wanted to see from Kentucky, and he led the charge there, rebounding the ball. Huge stuff from Amari. Huge stuff from Brandon Garrison as well, who didn't really get a ton of statistics in this game, but again, just physical play. Somebody out there to kind of muscle things around. Amari Williams and Andrew Carr actually both finished plus 16 in plus-minus box score. Really good stuff. I mean, just there's nothing else to say other than just really good stuff. You bucked some trends. You went out there. You played physical ball, you rebounded, and you were able to get some threes off in that second half where you played very well. Texas A&M, by the way, we're going to get to it in a little bit. Kentucky's defense, some of the numbers, they're impressive, and when you look at what Kim Pom has to say about it, it's even more impressive for the Cats. Jeremy Roberts says, should Kentucky be worried about Alabama after they took a loss to Ole Miss tonight? I'm not sleeping on Bama. I'm absolutely not sleeping on Alabama either. This is a very good team that has a lot of weapons offensively. We expect it to be a track meet type of game here on Saturday. That's kind of the expectation from a lot of different people across college basketball. I'm not sleeping on them. I think this is a team that you really need to be aware of that's going to be a hard scout and a hard guard. Just go ahead and brace yourself for what should be a big-time game in Rupp this Saturday. Let's see. Stephanie also points out Travis Perry is starting to look more comfortable. There was a point here at the beginning of the second half where Lamont Butler had some sort of injury. He got thrown around tonight, dude, and it's so frustrating to watch Texas A&M try to play what they consider to be basketball. Them throwing Lamont Butler to the floor over and over and over. The foul on Brandon Garrison towards the end of the game that Manny Obasaki had, it's not basketball. That's not objectively how the sport is supposed to be played. And again, annoying and frustrating that they are even allowed to. I'm glad he got called for that flagrant because it's just not basketball. It's the way that they handled Lamont Butler tonight is not basketball. It's just not. So Travis Perry had to step in for 10 minutes in this game. He had, 6 points, 2 of 4 from the floor. He had a big-time steal that led to him getting a 3 on the other end, actually. Plus 4 in those 10 minutes, not going to complain. He is continuing to get more and more comfortable as he has gotten a little bit more time here in SEC play, and I'm proud of him. I really think that he's stepping up here. I think shaving the mustache also helped a little bit. Just going to go out on a limb with that one, too. Ito, the F&D, says the refs made this game last 37 hours, and they still missed a bunch of calls. Yeah, the officiating in this game wasn't phenomenal either. Either way, I want to say. There were a lot of missed things, I think. With the way that they called the game so tightly at times, it feels like they missed a lot of different things in this one. It certainly does. But, hey, you were able to, for the most part, keep Texas A&M off the free throw line. You executed decently there yourself. You shot 77.4% from the charity stripe. That's really good. The analytics coming out of this game say a lot of different positive things for Kentucky basketball. Let's dive into those here. We'll continue to break this down. We'll continue to break down things in chat. Jeremy pointing out that Florida is still getting smoked by Missouri right now. The Gators down 12 in the O-Dome. We'll keep it pushing here on Locked On Kentucky. Before we do that, though, I want to tell you guys about our friends over at Game Time. Attending the new 12-team college football playoff is an incredible experience that brings fans together like never before, and Game Time has a new feature if you want to go to some of these events called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. It filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I've used Game Time for literally everything. I've used it for college basketball, college football. I've used it for baseball. I've used it for every single concert that I've gone to for 2 straight years now. If you want to go to a game in Rupp Arena, you need to go over to Game Time. They've got last-minute tickets. They've got on-time ticket delivery. They've got views from your seat. They've got all-in prices as well, so you aren't confused at checkout when you're going to get something for maybe the Alabama game this Saturday. You want to know exactly what you're paying up front. You're going to get it. You can take all of the guesswork out of buying your tickets with Game Time by downloading the Game Time app, creating an account, and using code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. So if you want to go to that Bama game, use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your ticket purchase. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, continuing along here on the Tuesday evening edition of Locked On Kentucky. Lance Dawe hanging out here with you. I really appreciate you guys checking out the show. About 120 of you here in the chat tonight, live streaming this postcast here on YouTube. If you have not liked the video, would love to see you subscribe, like the video. Let me know what you're thinking about this game in the comments below. Pushing along here, Kentucky basketball's 69-81 victory over the Texas A&M Aggies, a team that I just don't frankly care that much for. I'm glad they got a victory tonight. I don't like the way A&M plays basketball, and they were not able to inflict their will in the second half, and it was absolutely beautiful. Charles points out exactly, Williams was being called for 2 pushing fouls while he was being held for 3. They continued to hold him while he was trying to get open in the post. That offensive foul in the first half was just wrong. It's just flat out, that is not an offensive foul. Argue with a wall. It is not. It just wasn't. It was just a bad call. TJ Phillips says, on paper, what is the greatest efficiency that we have going against Bama? I would probably say it's rim protection. That's probably the easy answer there. Alabama, 3rd in the nation in 2-point field goal percentage at 61.4%. Kentucky heading into this game, which is 210th nationally in 2-point field goal percentage. They're now down to 214th in that category. So, yeah, it's definitely being able to stop Alabama from scoring at will at the rim. And keep in mind, this is a team that really likes to shoot threes. So, if you are not able to commit to one, can you commit to the other, or can you try and balance it out at the same time? It's going to be tough. It's a tough defensive assignment for this team. Let's see. Glad to see challenges at the basket. Seems like we are not doing that consistently. And again, that's what's going to come down to whether or not Kentucky wins the Bama game, I think, is can you challenge stuff at the basket? You look at this game for Texas A&M, we knew heading into this one, they're not a very efficient team at all. From the floor or from 3. Ended up shooting 39% in this game. 23.3% from beyond the arc, was 7 of 30. Just chucking up shots at times it felt like for A&M. And what they've been able to do is they've been able to get to the free throw line, at least more often than their opponent, and they've been able to grab second chance opportunities. Kentucky's been questioned about their ability to rebound. They've been questioned about their physicality down low. And here is the stat for you. This is the biggest part of this game. Texas A&M, they've updated the stats since I've seen it. I think there's a discrepancy here between CBS Sports and like the actual stats broadcast that Kentucky has over at Stats, which is like literally the name of the company. 11 offensive rebounds for Texas A&M out of their 30 total rebounds. 12 for Kentucky. Kentucky had 10 more rebounds in total than the Aggies did. And Texas A&M scored 11 second chance points. Kentucky scored 13. You beat them in rebounds, you beat them in offensive rebounds, and you beat them in second chance points. That is the conversation. That is the start and end of this game outside of you if you want to get hype about Jax. That is it. Full stop. If you are able to do that against teams that are really good at grabbing boards throughout the course of SEC play, you're going to find a lot of success. If you can shoot the ball 33.3% like Kentucky did or better tonight with some volume and rebound, you're going to have a lot of success. Alabama is also another team that does a really good job on the boards here. This is several trips in a row where Kentucky is being tested over and over and over and over again. If you're able to grab defensive boards, and this is something that Ito, the FND, just commented on. A&M likes to dirty up the flow of the game. I'm glad we beat them. If you are able to grab those boards, you start to implement your own game. You start to pick up the pace. You start to pick up the tempo. At halftime, Mark Pope actually came on the radio show in his brief interview before the locker room, and he said, yeah, I think we're frustrated with the pace of the game right now. It's something that we're going to have to communicate to our staff and to our kids about how we want to execute that better. And in the second half, they picked it up. They got out and they ran. And they did a lot of really good things in transition, including that freaking monster slam from Otega-Oweh. Can we talk about that for just a second? I don't know if I've seen a poster as hype as that in my time covering this team. And I'm going on, 3.5 seasons now? This is the 4th season I've been able to do this. I don't know if I've seen a dunk that hype. It is just an incredible poster from, and you've seen with the way that he's been kind of high flying and attacking the rim, it was gonna come at some point this season. And ladies and gentlemen, he got one. He absolutely did. Just a beautiful Sports Center top 10 highlight. Let's see here. People in chat, appreciate you tuning in. We beat them tonight because we beat them at their own game. Offensive rebounds. Give it away. I love that. That's a good comment. I hope somebody does an edit of that. Seeing Kirk Carissa on the bench with a cast kind of gets me hyped. He apparently, by the way, is about to enter like rehab. Like he's going to be over the next couple of weeks rehabbing and getting ready to come back in. The fact that he's been able to keep his energy and to keep the excitement while he's not been able to play at all, I love it, dude. I love it. Carissa's great. I cannot wait to see him come back. How do you feel about the Cats if they get the job done against Alabama? We're cruising. We're cooking. 15-3. You've already got 4 SEC wins under your belt against Florida, State, A&M, and Bama. 4 of the best teams in this conference. You're heading into Vanderbilt just hoping you don't drop it. Don't drop that game before Tennessee. If you find a way to win 2 out of your next 3 before you play Arkansas, but we've got 3 more games until the Arkansas game. How time flies. Alabama's going to be out for blood after losing. I agree. I think this is going to be a really, really tough time for Kentucky here with the way that Bama is probably going to come into this game locked in. Now's the time. Start wrangling those SEC locked-on crossovers. It's getting spicy. Behind the scenes, I've been asking, I'm trying to get some squad shows together for college basketball. I'm trying to get some guys here that are in the SEC, that are on our schedule, that will come and we'll talk hoops. I'm working on it. We will get it done. In the meantime, I'm going to try and see if I can have Mario Maitland of KSR back on. I'd love to have him back on the show. We just had Stephen Peak of KSR on about a week or so ago. Love having people on to the show to kind of talk hoops and stuff. It's really, really nice to be able to talk with you guys and then obviously them about kind of what's going on with Kentucky. But, man, get a crossover with Arkansas. Yeah. John Neighbors, I don't think you're watching this right now, but if you are, it's going to happen, man. Is it true that your dad is planning a new segment? Man, we've got it in the works right now. It's pending. We're kind of taking it through our marketing team right now, seeing what they think about it. Obviously, we've got Mark It Down here, as you can see with the little stamp. But yeah, we're working on that for sure as well. Let's see, what else can we break down here? Andrew Carr, a quiet 13 points on 6 of 9 shooting. Have you noticed that Carr, like, I don't know, I said this in the last recap episode against State. I don't know if another player that has come through Kentucky has has a better ability to draw fouls, and won fouls in the clutch. Carr has done it over and over and over and over again in crucial points. Go for it all, get Matt Jones. I'd like to have him on the show too. I'm sure that he would have a lot of interesting things to say. I'm worried about our defense against Alabama. Yeah, man, I am too. Again, can you protect the rim again like you did tonight? This is an inefficient team that played up to their standard. Inefficient basketball, inside and out. Bama is very much so different. Very much so different. I want to take a look at some of this KenPom stuff because a lot of it is really, really, really positive for Kentucky coming out of this game. It's great. Before we do that, though, I want to tell you guys about our friends over at Wayfair. After the holiday hustle, there's nothing like giving your home a little TLC, and I always find that decluttering and refreshing my space helps me get back into a routine. It's what I did here after the holidays, and whether you're tidying up, cleaning out, or just want to give your space a new look to start the year, Wayfair has everything you need, and it's all within your budget. It's actually a big reason why this place looks like it does currently. Wayfair was a big thing for me moving into this studio. They have free and hassle-free delivery, even for the larger items. Some of the things that I've had, like coffee tables and different desks and stuff like that. This little thing back here as well. This little stand, I should say. Everything that Wayfair has been able to do has been so easy to navigate. I found everything I wanted in no time. They've got some really cool stuff over there. There's something for every single person if you want to style your home however you want to, no matter your space or your budget. You can give your home the refresh it needs with Wayfair. You can head to wayfair.com right now. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home. All right, wrapping up the Tuesday night edition of Locked On Kentucky. Let's see here. Missouri is still up 7 on Florida. Okay. Man, what is up with the SEC on the road today? Of course, Auburn got it done against State. I'm just drubbed State without Janai Broome, which is incredible. We beat Alabama and Florida loses tonight. We may be number 5. We might be. I really am more concerned about, for right now, I like climbing in the AP. The big thing we need to be focusing on is where's Kentucky in the net and what does Bracket Matrix say about the Wildcats. In case you don't know, if you don't care, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't like Joe Lenardi, if you don't like Jerry Palm, if you think both of them, hey, they're morons. They don't know what they're doing with bracketology. For the most part, they're not the most accurate sources out there, to be frank. You can go to Bracket Matrix, just Google it, and it compiles every single bracket, like from every single major either analytics site or media site, compiles them all into one place so that you can look at the most accurate sources in the past, and you can see what they have to say about the field of 68 right now, and you can look at everybody so you can see the average seed. I'm concerned about net ratings, and I'm concerned about Bracket Matrix. What do those two outlets say about where Kentucky is right now? And if you want to look at the net, Kentucky heading into this one was 13th. They were 4-3 in quad one games. They're now 5-3. If you want to go look at KenPom, Kentucky rose from number 21 to number 17 in the nation. Their offense is now the second most efficient offense in the entire country. Their defense rose from 87th to 76th here because of how well they played grabbing rebounds and how well they played, I think, just overall holding A&M off the free throw line for the most part in this game, and then playing, again, good three-point defense. That's kind of what you have to do. The 2-point defense is still not very good. Opponents are still shooting 62.4% there, which is dead last in the SEC. That's not great. But still in this game, I mean, yikes. A&M could not hit an outside shot really to save their lives, and that's kind of how they work. Thank goodness Wade Taylor wasn't in this game. He would have been a massive problem, I think. Phelps, their leading scorer, with Wade Taylor out, had 21 tonight, but it was on 8 of 19 shooting, 2 of 9 from 3. Disgusting. Yikes. Puke. Let's see here. Every SEC game is going to be tough. I mean, that includes the games you don't think about. That includes the games you don't think about. Vanderbilt on the road next 2 Saturdays, so the 25th. That's a huge one. The Ole Miss game on the road, where you feel like, hey, we should beat them. That's going to be tough. The South Carolina game at home, that's going to be tough because they've got a really solid forward that Kentucky may have issues with. Texas on the road is a problem. We just got to go positive in each of our 2-game weeks every single week. If you can split 1-1 or go 2-0, that's all you're looking for from here on out. From here on out, if you can go 1-1 or 2-0 week by week, that's all you're asking for. You have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, if you can get to 10 wins in SEC play minimum, you're going to be in a really good spot. If you can be higher than that, it's going to be great. Can't get to the Final Four unless our defense improves. No team has made it there with the defensive numbers we have, minus Alabama from last year. The exception is Alabama from a season ago. Last season, and I'm pulling it up right now, Alabama was 111th in the nation in adjusted defensive efficiency. That bucked a long-standing historical trend. I think you're going to start to see more of stuff like that as we enter this new era of college basketball. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. If you are able to get this inside the top 60, and you are able to take your 2-point defense inside 50%, you're gold. I think that you are in a very good position, especially depending on matchups in your region. Seeing us not panic coming out cold from distance was nice because we were getting the shots we wanted. We just weren't falling. Yeah, it wasn't rushed. It wasn't panicked. And they started to fall thanks to Jax at the end of the first half, and it just kind of carried over. Great Kentuckian, longtime listener. Hey, Lance, glad we won. Told you that Jackson's going to be a breakout in the SEC, though this could just be a small stretch of good games. Also, the fact that they didn't call a goaltend was stupid. The goaltend was bad. The offensive foul on Amari was bad. The fact that A&M was getting away with so much down low, just pushing and shoving and throwing kids to the ground, I just don't really... The officiating crew. And see, here's my thing is I have now downloaded a PDF of the NCAA's like rule book for like what are fouls and what's not. Like by their definitions, almost everything should be a foul, and yet they let so much get away, and sometimes they let it get away at moments that matter. And it's so frustrating. Thank you for the kind comments, Ito. Mr. Mashman points out something. Great win. Guess the fashion show Pope was talking about were the 93 uniforms. Gentlemen, if we get denim uniforms for that Arkansas game, you're going to see a lot of people lose their mind. Can you do it for that game, or can you do it for the Tennessee game on February 11th, or the Auburn game on March 1st? I'd rather it for the Tennessee game. I'd rather it for the Tennessee game. If it's not like the black uniforms that they had a couple of years ago, which were just clean. If it's the denim, oh boy, I would love to see that. Was Buzz in his feelings tonight, or what? He was barking at Jax just as much. Yeah, Buzz was all up in his feels tonight. He couldn't handle the Jaxson Robinson style, as they say. Cats could have won that game by 20 plus. Love the uniforms. Yeah, if they shot well in the first half, this would have been over. This would have been over with about 15 minutes left in the second. Love how Robinson taunted their bench. He played for them at one time. Yeah, clap back, King. I mean, go off. And a second straight good shooting performance. And like Great Kentuckian points out, could just be a small stretch of games. Could be him lighting on fire. Could be him finally catching fire. We've been waiting for it for so long. Holy cow, Kentucky is 363rd in non-steal turnover percentage. That means they are dead last in the nation in getting non-steal turnovers. No team does it work. That's crazy. That's got to be a reason why their efficiency is so low. That has to be a reason. What if the Cats beat Alabama and Auburn, then we're a national title favorite? I mean, we already are, because of the fact that we were able to hang with Duke at a neutral site. We were able to hang with Gonzaga at a neutral site. By the way, do you see the way Duke's playing right now? I wouldn't want to play them. Just saying. They're also not playing great competition, but man, Cooper Flagg is he's coming to life, dude. He's coming to life. So I cannot believe we beat them. Looking forward to the Alabama breakdown coming up. This game's going to be huge. It's going to be big, man. I can't wait to dive into some of the numbers on this. I've not watched enough Alabama basketball this year, but what I will tell you is that they're like outside of rim percentage. Like they're not doing a ton well. Like they get to the charity stripe, but like it's a weird year for Oates for sure. Especially considering like the amount of guys that they had coming back. Like for Nelson and Sears to still be like their two biggest contributors, and for them to like not be phenomenal is weird. I think they should be performing better than they are. They dropped to number 10 on Ken Palm. Their defensive efficiency went up after losing to Ole Miss, which is crazy. But yeah, Miami had a very bad defense the year prior, I believe, 2023 tournament. Yes, I think you're correct. Did they make the final? Yes, they did make the Final Four because they lost to because they beat Texas, right? And I can't remember who they lost to. I'm still frustrated with the fact that we don't have a fight in us in the 50-50 ball. Sometimes I feel like one of the assistant coaches could just tell the players to stop acting like snitches. You know what I mean? I agree. Sometimes it feels like there's not the energy that could be there. Tonight, the energy was there for almost the entire time. It was there for almost the entire game. Out rebounding them, beating them at their own game was the reason that we won tonight. And the fact that Jax stepped up. Shooting, you came out of that first half, you shot 34.5%. Second half, 60. You controlled the game. The adjustments, the staff, the offense, the defense, the individual efforts. Kentucky's a hard out. They are a very hard out. Whenever they shoot, like if they shoot slightly below average or higher, they are an extremely hard team to beat. Because they're going to put points up. If you can't slow the game down and you cannot prevent them from getting open looks from three, it's going to be a problem. Because everything else stems off of that. Energy, defense, rebounding, pace picking up. I think that the Cats stay healthy. If the Cats stay healthy, they're trending up. They've shown more physicality and focus at least 2 games. They look good. Back-to-back games where they've stepped up. This game, way more than the previous one against State. They just out-muscled A&M in certain aspects. Saturday could be a shootout. I expect it to be. Duke and Florida are both Final Four caliber teams. Could not agree more. Guys, Florida's good. Still their only loss. Pending what happens against Missouri tonight. I can't even check that score right now. Goodness gracious. They will stack the deck in Kentucky's bracket, as always, y'all. As they always freaking do. But, of course, with this team, I mean, like, they've shown the ability to play so well against good competition. I don't think it matters that much. I think that like if you get into the bracket and you have a stacked region, I think it almost plays into what you want in a sense. Because let's say, hypothetically speak, let's go to bracket matrix. Bracket matrix. All right, I want to see where Louisville is specifically right now. Command F, Louisville. Louisville's a 9 seed. If Kentucky's a 2, and let's say Louisville drops to a 10, or Kentucky's somehow a 1 seed, you would rather play Louisville in the round of 32. You would absolutely rather play them than maybe somebody like Texas Tech. I don't want Maryland as a 9 seed. No, thank you. They've got a really good defense. Don't want that at all. Georgia as an 8 seed. I would rather shoot myself in the foot. San Diego State. Don't want them as an 8 seed. Oklahoma, West Virginia, don't want West Virginia as a 7 seed of the round of 32. No, thank you. Louisville's actually having a good year considering their injuries. Yes, they are. But the thing is, with Kentucky, they're going to get up for that. They would get up for that over a West Virginia because they know what that means in the round of 32. It's not only is it tournament time, but it's against a team you give a crap about. Arkansas is about to lose to LSU. 0-4, you've got to be kidding me. There's no way. 0-4. Once you finish this stream, I'll look back at my early season predictions and see which games I expected us to lose, see if they cover that UGA loss. I'll let you know in the comments. Please do, because I've got a couple of your predictions saved. I need to go and find them. Let's see. Missouri up by 11 right now with 9 minutes left in the second. Arkansas down 55-64 to LSU. Yeah, I'll be turning that game on here after we're done. Man, a weird day in the SEC for sure. Bama takes their first loss. Ole Miss improves to 4-0. Missouri has Florida on the ropes. LSU up by 9 with 6 minutes left. Weird day. All right. I think that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Kentucky. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Hey, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel or the podcast feed, I would really appreciate it if you did so. Comment below and let me know what you thought about this game, about Kentucky's performance. Big time win. You got a really big game on Saturday. Hope the Cats get up for it. We'll be breaking it down, of course, here on Locked On Kentucky. You can follow the show on Twitter at Locked On UK. You can follow me on Twitter at Lance_. That is the wrong hotkey. And you can follow the show over on Instagram. That is at Kentucky Podcast. Any questions, comments, concerns, you can leave those in the YouTube comments below. Hit me on the socials. I will see you all tomorrow for another episode of Locked On Kentucky. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And God bless. See you tomorrow.